exciting was it when Caitlin Clark became a part of the Fever?
I'm going to be honest with you. I had to, when I got the news, I had to pull my car over because I was freaking out so much. I was just, because not only was it huge for the Fever, but I think we all knew what this could mean for the city.
Sarah Maya had to pull her car over because she was panicking. The director and chief of staff for the Indiana Fever, one of the most influential figures in Indianapolis sports, couldn't continue driving after hearing the news. This wasn't excitement or simple enthusiasm. This was full-scale anxiety about what was coming next. That is the effect Caitlin Clark has. Maya knew something the rest of the world was about to find out. This moment wasn't just about basketball anymore.
Being able to, when you go to a game, so you should definitely come here for an Indiana Fever game sometime, but first of all, the line for the fan shop to get merch, like it starts hours before the game. We typically will have, we have people from all 50 states, and I think last year it was 44 countries come to an Indiana Fever game.
44 countries came to the city of Indianapolis. And y'all wonder, why the WNBA needs
44 countries. Let that number settle in. Fans from 44 different nations traveled to Indianapolis, Indiana to watch a WNBA game. Not New York, not Los Angeles, Indianapolis. And this wasn't a playoff matchup or a championship series. It was a regular season game. Fans line up at the team store hours before tip-off. All 50 U.S. states are represented. This is the economic footprint of a single player. What makes Maya's interview so compelling is that she isn't a player or a coach. She's the executive who studies the numbers. She looks at spreadsheets, hotel occupancy, and merchandise sales. She knows exactly what Caitlin Clark is worth in real financial terms. And what she reveals in this interview is sending shockwaves through the league office.
Wild what it's done. Not only, and then, for me, I was an athlete growing up. I was a swimmer, but I loved basketball. I loved softball. I loved it all. But to actually now see that stadiums are filled with little girls and boys watching these women thrive and watching them play. Like, I went to Cleveland Rockers games as a kid, and that was not a full stadium. So it's just so cool to see what she's done for the sport. It's wild. They're calling it Clarkonomics here. So there's some of our colleges are doing studies on everything that she's done as far from an economic standpoint for the city and state, and it's just been awesome. And she's been great too, honestly. She came to the Big Ten football.
Listen closely to what she says next. As a child, Maya attended Cleveland Rockers games, and those arenas were rarely full. That's the WNBA many people remember: dedicated fans, respectable attendance, but plenty of empty seats. Music. Now compare that image to what is happening in Indianapolis today. Maya is watching young girls and boys pack Gainbridge Fieldhouse to watch women's basketball. The contrast isn't just striking, it's generational. The phenomenon has been labeled Clarkonomics. Universities are conducting formal academic studies on the economic impact. Not sports blogs, not fan websites. Actual colleges with economics departments are analyzing how one 22-year-old point guard has transformed an entire city's revenue streams. When was the last time this happened in the WNBA? When was the last time it happened in any professional sport?
She goes to Butler games. She's just really supportive of the community, and I think she likes it here too. Iowa's obviously Midwest, and I think she's really found a home here. So it's been great for the city, but also just great to see how it's transformed women's sports.
It really is amazing. And the one thing you said, she shows up.
Yeah.
She shows up. That's the phrase Maya keeps returning to. Caitlin Clark attends Big Ten football championship games. She shows up at Butler basketball contests. She is visible throughout the Indianapolis community in ways that go far beyond her job description. Maya understands the importance of that presence because she has worked in this city for more than a decade. She volunteered for the Super Bowl. She directed the entire NCAA tournament bubble in 2021 when Indianapolis hosted all of March Madness during the pandemic. She knows what drives engagement in this market. But watch her expression when she talks about the pressure Clark faces, the global attention, the constant scrutiny. On music, Maya isn't just impressed, she is genuinely in awe. And this is someone who has managed Olympic swimming trials, multiple Final Fours, and coordinated major events for every professional sports franchise in Indianapolis. When someone at that level is astonished by your composure, you are operating on a completely different plane.
Because of what she's been able to do too. I mean, we're building a fever practice facility right across the street from our field house. That'll open in spring of 27 in time for next year's season. So that's going to be awesome. So there's a lot more to come, I think, with women.
Spring 2027. That's when the Indiana Fever's new practice facility is scheduled to open. It's being built directly across the street from the Pacers field house, and Maya openly credits Caitlin Clark as a major reason the project exists. Consider the timeline. Clark was drafted in April. By late 2024, when this interview takes place, construction is already underway on a facility that won't open for another 2.5 years. This isn't a reaction to one successful season. It represents a fundamental shift in how the organization views its future. The WNBA has needed this level of infrastructure investment for decades. Players have long raised concerns about inadequate facilities, shared practice spaces with college teams, and commercial travel where they carry their own equipment. Now, Indianapolis is building a state-of-the-art training center. Why? Because one player proved the return on investment was real.
Don't hear about Sarah. Really, a lot of people don't know who she is. It's not just the Fever she worked with. She working with every sports team in Indianapolis. Now we're finna go into her backstory and kind of let us know where she come from, how she got into her role.
Went to Butler University, which was right outside of Indianapolis. Wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I loved journalism and thought I might want to be on TV, working behind the scenes. So I did media production. So I was the camera girl for Butler basketball games, football games, and then I got a job at the Indianapolis Indians, which is our AAA team, doing the rooftop camera. So all the fly balls were caught on camera by yours truly. But it was a great entry point into learning.
Maya's professional background is essential to understanding the weight of her perspective. She didn't begin her career in sports. Initially, she thought she wanted to work in television. She served as a camera operator for Butler basketball games and Indianapolis Indians baseball. Eventually, she realized she didn't want to be behind the camera. She wanted to create the experiences people were watching. She transitioned into marketing, worked for a weekly newspaper, and then became head of marketing for the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra in 2011. 200 concerts a year, not total, but annually. At the same time, she volunteered with Indiana Sports Corp, helping organize Final Fours and a Super Bowl. This is someone who understands how to sell experiences across demographics, how to fill seats, and how to generate buzz in a competitive entertainment market. So when Maya says Caitlin Clark has changed the landscape, she isn't speaking as a basketball fan. She's speaking as someone who has spent 15 years studying what motivates people in Indianapolis to spend their money. And what she is witnessing with Clark is truly unprecedented.
I remember calling my parents and just telling them, hey, this is how I'm going to show up for the city. I feel like this could be a big step in my career, but I'm going to have to give this everything I have. So I came into this office every day, Saturday, Sunday, every day, 14 hours a day probably, from the time that we got the whole tournament until we executed the tournament. And then a couple of months later, I got offered to be the event director on the Olympic swimming trials. So it does pay off. I mean, I think, you just making sure that when you do see opportunities, see them in their greatest context. I think it's a huge part of this world. Like when you get the opportunity to do something, figure out how you can show up in the best way possible. And I feel like everything's still an audition. I mean, so I really try to keep that in my head when I'm doing.
The 2021 March Madness bubble was Maya's audition, and she knew it. She showed up to the office every single day for months, including Sundays. 14-hour days, starting from the moment Indianapolis was awarded the entire tournament until the final game was played. And the effort paid off. Just a few months later, she was offered the role of event director for the Olympic swimming trials. That's the career trajectory we're talking about here. Perform at the highest level, and you earn bigger opportunities. Music. Now, Maya is applying that same mindset to everything involving the Indiana Fever. She treats every event like an audition. Every game is a chance to prove that Indianapolis can handle major sports moments. And Caitlin Clark sits at the center of that strategy. But this is where the interview becomes truly revealing. Maya is essentially confirming what league executives have been afraid to admit publicly. The WNBA's growth right now is not evenly distributed. It is concentrated around a single player. Those 44 countries didn't send fans to watch the WNBA. They sent people to watch Caitlin Clark. The economic studies aren't about women's basketball as a whole. They are specifically about Clarkonomics. And that creates a serious problem for the league. What happens when your entire growth narrative is tied to one 22-year-old player? What happens if she gets injured? What happens if the pressure becomes too much and she decides to walk away? What happens when she eventually retires? Maya talks about everything feeling like an audition. Well, the WNBA is auditioning right now. The league has a narrow window to convert Caitlin Clark's individual popularity into sustainable, league-wide growth. That means building infrastructure, investing in other markets, developing additional stars, and creating systems that don't rely on one person showing up. And right now, they are failing to do that. Look at the attendance numbers from 2024. Indiana Fever games were selling out consistently. Road games featuring the Fever saw massive spikes in attendance. But games that didn't involve Indiana? Same crowds, same empty seats. The rising tide isn't lifting all boats. It's lifting one boat while the rest remain stuck in the harbor. Maya mentions seeing arenas filled with young girls watching women thrive on the court. That's beautiful. That represents the future of the sport. But it's also incomplete because those girls aren't watching the Dallas Wings or the Los Angeles Sparks. They are watching Caitlin Clark. And if the WNBA can't figure out how to turn that specific fandom into broader league support, they risk wasting the single biggest growth opportunity in the history of the sport. The new practice facility in Indianapolis is a win. But what about the teams that don't have Caitlin Clark? What about the markets that aren't drawing visitors from 44 different countries? What about players who are just as talented but don't generate the same economic impact? The league has to invest in them too. Infrastructure needs to be built everywhere, not just where profitability is immediate. That tension runs beneath Maya's entire interview. She's celebrating an extraordinary moment for Indianapolis, and she should. Her city hit the lottery. But the WNBA is a league, not a city. And leagues require competitive balance. They require multiple stars. They require casual fans to care about more than one team. Right now, the WNBA has Clarkonomics. What it needs is a sustainable economic model that works even when Caitlin Clark isn't on the floor. They need similar momentum in Chicago. They need stars driving growth in Las Vegas. They need every franchise to have the resources to build facilities, invest in communities, and create the kind of infrastructure Indianapolis is building now. Because here's the hard truth. Sarah Maya pulled her car over when she learned Caitlin Clark was coming to Indianapolis. But there are 29 other teams in professional basketball that would have done the exact same thing. Only one of them got her. So the question isn't whether Caitlin Clark is transforming the WNBA. She clearly is. The real question is whether the WNBA can transform itself fast enough to capitalize on what she's creating. Can the league build something that thrives beyond one player? Can it reinvest the Caitlin Clark windfall into long-term growth? Can it create 10 more Sarah Mayers in 10 more cities, all just as excited about their rosters? Because if it can't, then Clarkonomics won't mark the beginning of a new era for women's basketball. It will be remembered as a temporary spike, one that exposed just how far the league still had to go. And that would be the real tragedy. Not that Caitlin Clark succeeded, but that the WNBA failed to build around her success. What do you think? Is the league doing enough to turn this moment into lasting change, or is it wasting the opportunity? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more analysis on where the WNBA goes from here, hit that subscribe button because we're just getting started.